Good morning. Welcome to a short biblical reflection on the passage of the Gospel according to Luke chapter 2 verses 21 up to 40. This reading Sunday is for the feast of the Holy Family. Properly in the lecture, the reading starts from verse 22, omitting verse 21, but taking it as a literal unit, the reading should start already from verse 21. Because verses 21 and 22 mention two events, inseparable events according to Jewish tradition. Firstly, mentioning about circumcision, which according to the law was taken on the 8th day from the birth of a child, and also a name was given to the child. And from that day also started counting of 33 days of purification of mother in case of birth of a male child. So in total it makes 40 days, and this text is the basis for the feast on the 2nd February, which takes 40 days from the Nativity of Christ, traditional feast called Candlemas, or the Feast of the Presentation of Jesus Christ, or another name, the Feast of the Purification of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Each of these three names has its origin in this passage of the Gospel, the Feast of the Purification of the Blessed Virgin Mary, because in verse 22 we read, when the time came for their purification. But the purification was not the only aim of what is described in the passage of the Gospel. The purification was an occasion also to more important event, to present the child to the Lord, because the firstborn was supposed to be in a service for God, and it was necessary to offer for them sacrifices. Why the name Candlemas is referred to the saying of Simon, who states that Jesus is a light for revelation to the Gentiles, in verse 32. And since the Holy Family is mentioned in this passage of the Gospel, the liturgy also chose it for this coming Sunday of the Holy Family. But I'm not going to explain this passage of the Gospel in the service for this liturgical feast, because I want to explain the meaning of this passage as it is said in the Gospel according to Luke. As you can see on the screen, as I put in a light blue color, 5 expressions which refer to the law, Mosaic law, the law of the Lord. Like for example, verse 22, according to the law of Moses, verse 23, as it is written in the law of the Lord. These 5 instances stress that everything what is done by the Holy Family, it is done in accordance to the law, in obedience to the law of the Lord. In the introduction to this event, there is 3 times used the same verb kaleo, meaning calling, giving name, as it is here translated. He was called Jesus, then the name given by the angel, and shall be designed as holy. And the name Jesus, as well also the title Holy, go back to the Annunciation. Like in chapter 1 verse 35, we read that the child to be born will be holy and will be called the Son of God. Also this expression could be also translated, the child to be born will be called holy, the Son of God. After the introduction follows encounter with the 2 unknown personalities, complementary personalities. On one side, Simon, called righteous and devout person, and Anna, called a prophet, with mentioning particularities, a daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher, one of the tribes which disappear in the exile. And the other particularities that she lived with her husband 7 years after her marriage, and then as a widow to the age of 84. Those two numbers myself I could read in symbolic way. Number 7, which in biblical language quite often is expressing totality, completeness. So it would express totality, completeness of the time of her marriage. And then age 84, it would mean 7 times 12. Since in the description is mentioned that she belonged to a particular tribe, therefore she could be as a representative of all the 12 tribes of Israel, not only the tribe of Judah. And therefore we have it included within two similar expressions in verse 25, referring to Simon looking forward to the consolation of Israel, and here the conclusion of description of Anna, who was referring about the child to all who were looking for the redemption of Jerusalem. And then at the center of this passage, because the two blessings of Simon could constitute the center of the passage, the word Israel occurs twice, for the glory to your people Israel, and then for the failing and rising of many in Israel. But the fulfillment of the expectation expressed twice, looking forward to the consolation of Israel, and all who are looking for the redemption of Jerusalem, surpasses the expectations, because the fulfillment does not regard only the people of Israel, but all the peoples, the Gentiles. And this stress on universality of Jesus' mission is important, in particular in the Lucan Gospel, which was addressed to the Christians originating from other nations, not the Jews. And leaving aside verse 21 as the liturgy does, we would lose important link, because in verse 21, when is the child named Jesus, it makes strong link with the expression in verse 30, your salvation, because in Hebrew the name Jesus, Yehoshua, means God who saves. So this is the reason when Simon sees Jesus, he says, my eyes have seen your salvation, because seeing Jesus, he sees God's salvation. But Jesus' salvation event is not something that could be put aside, neglected. It requires to take a stand. Therefore, in the second blessing, Simon says that this child is destined for the failing and raising of many in Israel, and to be a sign that will be opposed. And these words already announce the saying of Jesus that we will see later in chapter 12 in the Gospel according to Luke, similarly also in chapter 10 of the Gospel according to Matthew, who says, do you think that I have come to bring peace on to the earth? No, I tell you, but division. The division comes not because Jesus wants to divide, but the division comes because people divide those who follow him and those who are against him. And at the heart of the story between those two blessings, there is expressed amazement of the parents of Jesus. At the child's father and mother were amazed at what was being said about him. And also double stress in those two blessings on revelation, that Jesus is a light for revelation to the Gentiles, and then consequently that the inner thoughts of men will be revealed. So this revelation of Jesus is an engaging event that forces people to take their stand. Therefore the inner thoughts will be revealed, or in a positive amazement and positive reactions, or the negative ones. So this revelation of Jesus is an engaging event that forces people to take their stand. Therefore, the inner thoughts will be revealed, or in a positive amazement and positive reactions, or the negative ones. Now, in reference to the liturgical feast of the Holy Family, as a main topic could be taken the obedience to God through the obedience to the law, observance of the law. And this aspect of obedience is also well illustrated by other two readings referring to Abraham as an example of faith of a person who is obedient to God. Wishing all of you nice day, blessed Sunday.